Old Town. What? Okay. So I am in Old Town Fairfax area, and they have new signs like on the light posts about rugby. I'm gonna have to look into what's going on with that because that could be super cool. Um, anyhow, dropped off crazies for work. It was an eventful morning. Baby girl couldn't find her badge, so minor meltdowns, but she found it. Everyone got to work on time, and it is Thursday. And Thursdays, anything can happen. Um, so funny story about that and Thursdays. So, in a past life when I was a hoodlum and in the Marine Corps, we would have thirsty Thursdays. And, it's exactly what you think. Um, we would, yeah, there we go. We would have people over and just, you know, get plastered on a Thursday night because why the fuck not? Um, but that kind of turned into like we would tell the kids different stories about, hey, when we were young and dumb, because our goal is to make sure that our kids learn from our mistakes and find new ways to make mistakes rather than repeating the same mistakes over and over again. So, and it just kind of started, like once upon a time on a Thursday. It's probably a Thursday, because, anything can happen on Thursday. And that just kind of became the trope that anything can happen on a Thursday. And the more like I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, no, I fucking love this idea of Thursday being the day that anything can happen because everyone is trying to get shit done to finish out the week. Fridays, no one ever actually, because, they're finishing up whatever needs to get finished up so you can have a good weekend and pray that nothing, crazy goes down. But because everyone is trying to get everything done, Thursdays are always that day where, which way is that coming from? Behind me. There we go. So Thursdays becomes anything can happen, and everyone's working hard to get to the weekend, and so like Thursday's that workforce day of what needs to get done so we can have a good weekend or get off early on Friday. And so yeah, now that's kind of become our slogan for Thursdays. Anything can happen. And from that, I don't know, what do I think can happen today? what needs to happen today. Um, I took care of a lot of the dire things that I needed to take care of yesterday. Taxes did get done, but there's still a lot of like compliance things that I need to go through and make sure are like all the paperwork side of business sucks, but the paperwork is so flippin' important. So that's kind of where I'm at today, is working on compliance and governance, not government, governance documents for Astrolith and for the Hive Social Garden and for XOXO, Sapio. So right now I basically run 3 businesses, and then my daughter has her business. So we've got 4 that I have to kind of make sure all of the compliance and documents and all of that stuff are good to go. Astrolith is education tech for the space generation. Get super excited for that coming as we continue to do more things. If you haven't subscribed to the Moon Mail newsletter, it's just once a month, on or around the new moon time frame, which is around now. I need to make sure I put together the newsletter for this month, but that's going to be everything space resource utilization and global supply chain, specifically looking at the space and technology components and resources and all that fun stuff. So I've got to do that today. And Hubs has a normal day at work, so he'll be at work all day, so I don't have to go get him. But I do have to go get baby girl in like an hour. No, a little longer than an hour. And then we're going to, she's got, so what she does is she has a party planning business, and one of the big events she works on and helps out with is Pride Prom. And so she's currently working on that. If you're in the DMV area and you have kids high school age, Pride Prom happens every year, and like if nothing else happens in the year, that's the one baby girl like really, really works hard to make sure it gets put on, because one, that's how she met all of her besties. Well, most of her besties, her friend group. That's how my son has any sort of local community, as they all meet up at the very least once a year at prom to party it up and have a good time. So, what we got going on here? Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go in. We're gonna do a workout. You want to join me? It'll be fun. And then we'll go from there. Oh my God, cups and shit. And where's my bag go? Um, but yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, I have to roll my window down because
Well, that's one of the things I have to fix. My car door doesn't open. Well, it opens, but it doesn't open from the outside. So that's on the fix it list for this week, but probably not today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. If not tomorrow, definitely on Saturday, which I might just do. Have to hit up Brad. Oh. Alrighty. Sounds like baby boy is up. He's in the shower. That's golden. So, I'm fucking in the car, but that's okay. I will get that later. Throw my bag down. Ugh. She just need to go upstairs. Get computers rolling. And then we're coming over here for alrighty. Here we go. Good morning. All right. Just gonna start with stretches. Get our bodies moving. That's right. Mm, Stretch up. Good stretch down. Make sure blood is flowing. Get ourselves ready to have an amazing day. Gonna go into downward dog. Really focus on breathing deeply. And then we're going to go down to our knees. Just kind of cat and cow it for a little. Stretch up. And move back into child's pose. Oh. And as these kind of stretch out. Think of what you want to start your day with as far as your intentions for the day. And being able to focus on that one thing that you want to get done today. So for me, I really need to get the governance taken care of and get it to the lawyer to get looked at. So we can make sure uh, all of that stuff is taken care of. So that's the biggest thing I'm focusing on getting done today. Otherwise, around the house, I need to get I need to keep working on laundry because, how many of you guys have a pile of laundry just sitting on your floor? They're clean. You just haven't folded them yet. They might have been on your bed and then you shoved them to the floor so you could sleep. Yeah, that's me. So I am working on getting those folded and put away. And then once I get things started in the computer room, hit up QJ and go through what he's got to get done today because it helps to have that um oh goodness, this feels good. It helps to have that accountability of just knowing, hey, someone's going to check on you. And not everyone has that, but that is something that I love doing and have always just enjoyed doing and helping others reach the goals that they have been setting and having struggles with. Um, Even growing up in like school and whatnot, um, I was not the one who would do everyone's homework for them, but I would help them with their homework if they needed it, and we would do it together. And that was kind of like my approach. Well, I won't do it for you. I mean, I basically did half the time, but um, the other thing I would do is I would read. So um, I remember, so 10th grade, yeah, 10th grade. I went to Alaska. Um, it was our venture scout. So I did venture scouting, which is co-ed Boy Scouts. Um, Before Boy Scouts was going co-ed, so it's ran by the Boy Scouts. Actually, I have a picture of me in my uniform. Not gonna lie, I look pretty dope as a also loser, but a girl in a uniform is hotter than a guy in a uniform, just saying. Um, but anywho, Alaska during the summer, because of where it's located, you have um longer hours of daylight. And we're young and dumb and we'd be up until like 3 or 4 in the morning, not even realizing it. But one of the things that we would do is um I I would always have my Bible with me. And part of that was the, religious indoctrination um of keeping it with you, but also, and even to this day, like if you've never read through the Bible, the stories are wild. Like, and I there's the whole literal translation of it versus metaphorical and like how do you understand it? Do you understand it to be a collection of stories? Do you see it as a nonfiction history? Like, what genre would you put the Bible in? And that's never been something that I've really thought through of like within the library sciences, where would you place the Bible? And granted, it's way more complex than just fiction and nonfiction on how libraries are divided so you can find the books that you want because there's a million different sections. And now there's like the whole religious section. But I would have my Bible with me and I would read the stories out loud and people would be like, the other scouts, one, they loved sitting and just listening to me read, but I would always like, no, you have to read this story and like go and find the very specific stories and like read them context and be like, okay, for instance, we'll go with David. King David. Fucking wild man. Okay. So, first off, this asshole saw a gorgeous woman on a rooftop and decided he wanted her. So he sent her husband to the front line of the war so he would die and he could like have her. Insane. He also danced in the streets naked. Um and like now looking back and looking at all these stories and kind of if that's the bar people are setting for themselves is, oh, I I can be an asshole. I just have to try and ask God to forgive me. No, that's not how that shit is supposed to work, but whatever. Um, but yeah, so I would sit there and read some of the wild stories about, the shipwrecks and just absolutely wild insanity that is within the books of the Bible. And at the same point, like even when I went into the Marine Corps, the separation of church and state is so important because one, your religion is supposed that's in my opinion very personal. How you understand the world and how you understand the workings of the unknown, but also like um, the element of you can't just say, oh, God told me to do it, so I did it, and use that as your justification for, genocidal maniacs, for instance. Just grabbing an idea off the top of my head. Um, that's not supposed to like that's the whole point of separation of church and state is that you cannot use God as your like reason for actions taken or whatnot. So and so told me to do it, so I did it. And that goes back to even the Nuremberg trials and how just following orders was not a valid stance. All right, we're doing squats now because, got to get that booty all nice taut and bubbly for summer as we do all sorts of fun shenanigans. 2, we'll do 25 this way, then we'll do sumo squats. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4, and 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, in order to disrupt the genocidal maniacs and the assholes who are currently running our country, we got to get ourselves in shape. So that's one reason why I'm hopping on here and doing workouts for my own accountability, but also if you want to join, you're able to. Because it's easier to do things when you do it with someone else. Which is why, yes, it's easier to, just say, oh, I was just following orders. But it's 10, 11. But you have to be able to make your own decisions. And if you're not, 14, 15, then, you don't have autonomy. 17, 18, 19, 20, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Shake your legs out. We're going to do one more set of those. We're going to stay here. Oh, like a little bit more. So yeah, the ability to, what causes decision making and all of that stuff, and the levels of autonomy between what you should do, what you need to do, all of that stuff is, it's a tight rope. It's a tight rope to walk because, again, you don't want to force, especially a loved one, into doing something that they don't want to do. But at the same point, there are things that they need to do in order to take care of themselves. So you don't want to tell them, hey, listen, I love you, so you need to do X, Y, or Z. Instead, you can kind of make your own decision and be like, hey, I'm doing X. If you want to do X too, cool, come with me. We'll do it together. If you don't want to, that's cool too, but I'm going to do it anyways because that's what I want to do. And kind of having that space to make your own decisions. And it's important, especially as a parent, to be able to help your kids navigate that too, which is even more difficult because, you don't want kids to get so comfortable that they never try anything new. But also, you want them to try new things safely and wanting to juggle that back and forth between, just allowing others to have the autonomy to do what they want, but also sometimes you just really want someone to be willing to do something with you or be willing to fight for you. Like, great example is my mom. I love her to death. But because she doesn't want to push her ideas on anyone else and also doesn't want to, she's always trying to be the peacekeeper, that it's like she doesn't know how to fight for whatever it is she really, really believes in. And so, with all of the headache of, you know, knowing that individuals in my family voted for Trump, or they didn't vote for Trump, but they voted third party to send a message to, blah, 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 that, you know, give us better options, where we had people, um, oh, all right, we're going to do another set, 25 regular, 25 wide, and then we'll go back. Anyhow, I told my mom showed up here randomly. I think I talked about it yesterday. And one of the things that we told her, like, listen, here's the boundary. You don't get to just show up out of the blue. You do not have the, we keep with words, so annoying. You do not have permission to disrupt my day with your bullshit, is what that really comes down to. Because the individuals that you allow to interrupt your flow and to interrupt what it is you're working towards, is taking energy away from things that you need energy for. So that's why we set boundaries. And anyhow, so my mom has the boundary that she's not allowed to just show up anymore. And really, they don't have my phone number, although they could find it if they really wanted to. They don't have, like, my extended family. Like, there are control mechanisms that I put in place in order to manage the stress levels that my family, my immediate hive, was dealing with, because we had enough to deal with. I couldn't add additional bullshit to the plate or to the stresses of my husband, my kids, or myself. And when you have individuals who don't fully understand what it is you're dealing with, and it's not I'm not willing to tell you, because I'll get on the internet and tell, the whole world about the shitty things that I'm dealing with, or I'm very open individual. You ask me a question, I'm going to give you the no shit answer. But if you're not willing to meet halfway, especially when the level of stresses and needs that I'm dealing with at that point in time only leave me so many spoons, and I'll talk about spoon theory, in that you only have so many spoons to give, or you only have so many fucks to give. When you're out of fucks, you can't. Sorry, you've got nothing left. And that's kind of where it got with my family. So those boundaries are in place now. But even there, like, I love people, but I love the good parts and the good memories that I have with them. And it makes it sad when I think about like having to put those boundaries in place. Yes, it needed to happen, but also that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. There's still grieving that happens, and there's still those pain points that you have to manage and deal with and all of that stuff. Okay, let's do our squats, and then we're going to get ready for the rest of the day and all of that fun stuff. So 25, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 5 more, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake them out. We're going to do sumo squats. So yeah, today we're working on governance as far as the business side of things go, as well as doing some work with and for QJ. I think we're recording a podcast, which is going to be, I'm excited for it. It's going to be interesting how it turns out, because I told him, like, listen, he's building me my human digital twin for me. So I had to give him a whole bunch of stuff, and I still owe him some sound bites. But in building that for me, he has like a whole bunch of my writing, all of the videos that are all over Substacks and all of that. But my writing is the big thing, because I think I put 50 some odd things that I've written in a folder for him to go through. And I told him, listen, ask me anything. There is no topic off limits. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Last 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's right, friends. You and I, 2 days in a row. That's what we call consistency. Booyah! You know, keeping a 2-day streak here, and I'm super proud of myself. Ugh. Anyhow, so, whoop, there we go. Pushing buttons and shit. Anyhow. Whew, need water. There we go. So, today, over to my corner. This is my little corner. I'm not sure if you are a fan of musicals, but you know, I was a music kid, so band, chorus, drama, musicals, all the things. But Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, in my own little corner. I can't breathe, otherwise I would sing, which I don't often do, but you know, actually I sing a lot. I just don't seriously sing very often. But eventually I will get back into putting together some music. I've got a couple of song mashups I want to put together because I think they've just been in my head for so long that it would be fun to get them recorded and pieced together. So we'll see if I can learn how to use my sound equipment that I've gotten, well, not recently, but slowly over time to build out my whole studio of things. And actually, I had someone like, you say that you don't have money for, you know, X, Y, or Z, but you have all of this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. I do. I'm not saying that I don't have privileges. I'm not saying that the equipment that I have slowly collected over 20 years of working in technology and upgrading the equipment that I have and have available to me. I'm not saying I don't have that. I'm just saying that I only have so many resources available at the moment. And the selling of equipment that, you know, I need to use on a regular basis so I can pay bills and all that fun stuff is not available. Ooh, so we are pulling out my deck. So the spread that I'm doing, so I'm learning how to do tarot cards and reading. And the spread that I'm doing for today is just a simple past, present, future 1, 2, 3 spread. And then I have my guidebook to help me because I haven't memorized everything. But let's see what, according to the deck, the day is looking for. So I've got a 5 of Wands. So 5 of Wands is the buzzwords are tension, conflict, and disagreement. So this was past. So notice how the bees hover above the buttercups, but are not actively foraging on the plant. It is rich in pollen, and when they do land upon the golden petals, they are often covered in thick yellow pollen very quickly. But in some European countries, it has been reported that buttercup pollen causes bees to become sick. The pretty flower is quite toxic to many insects, animals, and humans. Looks can often be deceiving. Take note of the group of people in the background. There appears to be an air of disagreement and challenges about them. When passionate, creative people collaborate, it can result in incredible accomplishments, but it can also turn sour. When fire goes up against fire, the conflagration, I'm not sure what that word means. And this is why the internet is fantastic. I'll pull up. Makes it way easier than having to conflagration. An extensive fire which destroys a great deal of land or property. So, the giant fire can quickly run out of control, resulting in disagreements and conflicts. So, mine is reversed, it's upside down. And the reverse is things have gotten out of hand, and the resulting atmosphere is one of spitefulness and one-upmanship. People are being burnt badly by the present situation, and nobody seems willing to admit fault, blame, or responsibility. Taking responsibility is having the ability to respond, but to do so spitefully is not helpful. So that's the past. And you can even look at this really cool card. And there we go. And it's interesting as you know, the whole point with tarot and whatnot is to help, look at your circumstances and learn from them. And I've definitely had a situation recently that has gotten way out of hands and had to set a boundary, and there's spite there, there's hurt there, and I know that it's there. And until either I know I have the resources available to rectify the situation, I think there's going to be hurt there for a little bit. So, with that, it's difficult, but we learn, we love, we move on. All right, next one I have is the devil. Bom, bom, bom. It's upside down as well. So let's see. Here we go. The devil, buzzwords: restriction, ignorance, passion. The devil shares a commonality with temperance and death, and they all seek to imaginatively transform the keeper on their journey through the major arcana. The process within the devil are not antagonistic. Instead, he has the potential to lead to a renovating of the spirit and the self on the path towards balance and moderation. In this card, we see a figure that represents the trappings of material wealth. Behind him sit hundreds of commercial hives as bees buzz about the scene that is barren monoculture, but all is not as it seems. The devil figure is responding to a need within society itself. Are we willing to pay that bit extra for a premium product that has been lovingly tended by a local beekeeper, or do we want it for the lowest cost possible? The devil is responsive and he reacts to the environment. He can represent our inability to see clearly the things that tie and control us. We become slaves to the status quo, locked into habitual practices and behavior. The devil card challenges us by questioning our motives and responses. It is a lens that focuses on the minute details of the self. Damaging patterns of behavior often occur because we are not willing to look closely at our role in the situation. The devil does not drag you to a place of damnation, but offers a path through challenges toward the light. In Abrahamic religions, the devil is associated with Lucifer, whose name means the morning star, and as an adjective, the bringer of light. This is the devil card in my pack or my deck. And it's reversed. It says, you are on the verge of a breakthrough in thought and attitude, but something is holding you back. Your shadow self is not there to be antagonistic. It is necessary. It is time to confront your fears and realize that the power of transformation has always been within you. That is interesting, and I'm going to sit on that and take that in because that's interesting. Next card, so that's today, the present, and the future is the Three of Wands. So let's look at the Three of Wands. And I don't do this every day. My daughter did it yesterday and went, yeah, let me do that today. That'll be at least an interesting start to the day because I have a little bit slower of a morning. Three Wands. The buzzwords are expansion, foresight, and focus. In the Two of Wands, there's a hint of indecision and trepidation that accompanied it. Here we see that the same left-hand wand is being grasped, but two other wands are now in the picture. They are not being left behind. They are an integral part of what you are thinking or what you are taking with you. There we go. Your ideas are now moving into reality and will soon bear fruit. There are exciting things ahead, and it is time to step forth into the future. This card can often imply physical movement in the form of travel, but also an expansion of your creativity. It may well be that your influence will be felt far and wide, and whilst physical travel is wonderful, your reach may take the form of virtual expansion. Either way, it's time to move forward and into the new reality that you have created by your own design and passion. What is on the horizon may not be fully realized and clear just yet, but you have the confidence to trust that it will all work out splendidly. But do not fall into impatience. All good things come in good time. I fucking hate that. But I know that's right. I'm so impatient. Anywho, take care of yourself, for the road ahead will be full and bustling with energy. Self-care is important. So that's super fun, and it is upright. So there I go. Three of Wands, and it was upright. So the bumblebee bumbles along confidently, and does not rush. Learn from their nature. Do not force what is to come. You have done the work. Trust that the horizon will be reached. So, one, if you have been following all of the shenanigans that I have been up to, oh my God, this was a fun little practice this morning. Because I've had some past struggles and hurts and things that I'm dealing with. And I know today there are still struggles and still things that I have to figure out the balance of being able to, one, the sustainability of, are you willing to pay more for a more ethical product? Or are you going to cut corners just to save some money? And then just that future foresight of things coming to pass and the expansion that is to come. That's exciting. But those were my cards for today. There we go. There you go. I'm so dumb. As I started my day, and now I'm going to look into what's going on in the world before other things take my attention. But with that, I will stop our live chat and we will continue on later. Anyhow, I hope you guys have a great Thursday, and remember, anything can happen on a Thursday. I seriously need to figure this out.